As you can see, South Korea kind of sounded like the better option, going where I really wanted to go, which was Latin America. Definitely outside of my comfort zone as someone who is moving abroad for the first time. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kara, if you don't know me already, and I am from Pennsylvania, but I am currently living in the Dominican Republic. Today we're going to be talking about South Korea, teaching English in South Korea. So if you know me personally, you know that I never lived in South Korea, but it is where I wanted to go originally. So we're going to talk about why I wanted to go there and just why I thought it would be better to start teaching there, to teach my first year there. So let's just dive right in. So I want to preface this whole thing by saying I'm going to be making some generalizations. So I know that these things aren't necessarily going to be true for every single school in that specific country, but I will say that these are things that I was taught, at least that I saw from my TEFL company where I got my TEFL certificate. So yes, people do have to make generalizations for people who are interested in teaching abroad, just so that they can have an idea of what they're going to be getting themselves into. So with my TEFL course, I was told what to expect from teaching jobs in different parts of the world. If you go to the ITA website, you'll probably get a pop-up at the bottom that says free download 60 country comparison chart, something along those lines. When you open that, you'll see that there are obviously generalizations, as I said, but they're comparing the salaries, the cost of living, they're comparing just the different teaching jobs that are available and what sort of schools you will teach in, all of those different things. This is mainly where I got my information from, and from there I built my expectations, what to expect applying for jobs in those different countries. For example, I learned that I could make a lot of money teaching in South Korea, but not so much in Latin America. So I developed a sort of rough draft plan in my mind of how I wanted my first few years of teaching abroad to look like. I imagined my first year I would get a job in South Korea. I would stay there maybe 1 or 2 years to save up money, and then going where I really wanted to go, which was some country in Latin America. Now, it's not that I didn't want to go to South Korea at all. Obviously, I wouldn't go somewhere if I didn't want to actually live there. But it's just that it really didn't make sense for me to go to South Korea. I don't speak any Korean. I wasn't even trying to learn it at the time. But on the other hand, I knew I wanted to go to Latin America mainly because I had been in Spanish classes since 7th grade. I had become accustomed to the language, I had gained an interest in the culture, and I wanted to learn more about that by experiencing the country firsthand by living there. So let's talk about my expectations. Here are the expectations that I learned to have for teaching jobs in South Korea. Number 1, the job market was very large and they were always looking for teachers. Number 2, you can find a job online easily, you'll have a Skype interview, and you'll be all set to go before you move over there. Number 3, they paid a large salary, and that made it very easy to save money. 4, they provided housing, and it was always very nice housing. 5, they reimbursed your flight money, which was good because it's quite a long flight from where I am in the United States at least. 6, there were many large cities, many places to travel to, and there was public transportation to get to those places easily. Number 7 is there's just a lot of the same modern day, comfortable conveniences in South Korea that you would find and be accustomed to after living in the United States your whole life. Now, on the other hand, let's compare the expectations I was taught to have for a Latin American country. Number 1, the salary is very low. You'll probably just be making ends meet, or you might have to have extra money in order to make up for the cost of living. Number 2, they're probably not going to reimburse your flight. Number 3, you are probably not going to have housing provided. And number 4, this was the most shocking part to me, was that you will have to move there first and then find your job. So I was hearing or learning from my TEFL company that there were actually people who moved there first, and then they started looking for jobs on the ground. They went to the actual physical school buildings to apply. Definitely outside of my comfort zone as someone who is moving abroad for the first time. Hearing all those expectations compared to the expectations for living and teaching in South Korea, I was thinking, okay, I'll go there first. And then once I have some money, then I'll go to Latin America, explore the culture, practice my Spanish as I want to. As you can see, South Korea kind of sounded like the better option. So it sounded like I would have an established job first before moving across the world, and a lot of the comfortable conveniences we're used to in the US. So I'm going to end there for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for part 2. I'll be talking more about my personal experience searching for and interviewing for jobs in South Korea. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.